Good day, senior high school learners. I know today is gonna be a good day. Have fun in learning your reading and writing skills subject. Welcome to your reading and writing skills subject, quarter 1 or 3 for week 7. I am your teacher today, Mr. Norlan D. Agdeppa. Before we proceed to our lesson for today, I would like you to prepare your learning activity sheets in reading and writing skills quarter 1 week 7, and also prepare your paper and pen. Our learning competency for today is explain critical reading as a form of reasoning. Let us now start our lesson. Let us start with what is critical reading. According to Gillette 2015, critical reading requires you to evaluate the arguments in the text, distinguish fact from opinion, and look at arguments given for and against the various claims. It means being aware of your opinions and assumptions, positive and negative, of the text you are reading, so you can evaluate it honestly. It is important that we know the writer's background, assumption, and purposes. Knowing the reason for writing and the importance of details is very essential. Always remember that critical reading is very different from a simple reading, because in critical reading, it requires you to evaluate the arguments in the text. It means you have to assess the arguments. Okay? You have to distinguish fact from opinion. Which among the arguments in the text is factual or opinionated? You have to look at arguments given for and against the various claims. Which you have to evaluate the arguments. Which among of these is for the claims or against the claims? And always remember this. It is important that you know the background, assumption, and purpose of the writers, because that is the way how we do critical reading. After examining the arguments through critical reading, you can now reason out. Now, what is reasoning? According to Tesoro 2020, reasoning is the act of thinking about something in a logical, sensible way. It is thinking, understanding, and forming judgments by a process of logic. It is an assertion of our belief. Always remember that when you are reasoning, you have to think first the arguments, and then you have to understand the argument before you can form your judgment. Remember that you as a reader, and even when you are the writer, you cannot judge easily. You have to understand first the situation or the given text before you give your judgment. And in that way, you can give the reason based on the factual evidences that you have. Always remember that when you are reasoning or giving your reason, it is an assertion of your belief. Okay? You are asserting your belief. But it is not just a belief. You have your evidences based on the arguments given and the claims given in the text. Reasoning is asserting your own belief. Now, what is assertion? Assertion is part of reasoning. It is a statement used to make a declaration or to express strong belief on a particular topic, often without evidence. It is formulated after reading a story, a poem, a text, and even after watching a film. The writer conveys idea or feeling and convinces the reader to accept the writer's interpretation of a certain work. That is from Tesoro 2020. When you are asserting, you are declaring and expressing strong belief based on your particular topic. And always remember that you are also asserting based on your judgment. Okay? You are doing assertion because you want to convince your reader. So that is assertion. Now let us move on the steps in writing assertion. Number 1, you have to read or watch the literary work comprehensively. apply comprehensive reading and watching of literary work. You have to take note of this comprehensive reading. Okay? You should have an in-depth understanding of the literary work. Okay, number 2, always take note of the part you agree and you oppose, then explain it in details. You should have your paper and pen, be ready, and then take note the parts you agree or you oppose. Okay, you have to jot down those things that you agree with that literary works and you don't agree. And then you have to explain it in details. Okay, number 3, collect evidences which will be used as supporting information to your assertion. Of course, when you are doing assertion or you are asserting as much as possible, you have your evidences that will support your assertion. Because if you don't have evidences, sometimes your reader will not believe on you. We have the different kinds of assertion. Now let us find out what are these. The first kind of assertion is the basic assertion. It is an assertion or expression of a writer's feelings, beliefs, and opinion directly. It is usually used in formal writing of a paper such as thesis and dissertation according to Tesoro 2020. In this kind of assertion, you have to remember this. It is a direct assertion or expression of feelings, beliefs, and opinions of the writer. Okay? To have a deeper understanding about this, let us move on to the example. I have here example of basic assertion. Let us read this paragraph. The Department of Education is ready for the opening of the class in this new normal. It has 3 learning modalities. Number 1, modular distance learning uses self-learning modules that are printed or in digital format. Number 2, online distance learning uses the internet in downloading learning materials and uploading homeworks. And number 3, radio TV-based instructions to those who have no internet connectivity. This proves that the department provided different modalities to reach out the learners and continue the teaching learning process while facing the pandemic. Now let us find out why this paragraph is an example of basic assertion by answering these questions. Number 1, in this paragraph, which sentence contains the basic assertion? The basic assertion here is the Department of Education is ready for the opening of the class in this new normal. Okay? Why? Because the writer is asserting here that the DepEd or Department of Education is ready for the opening of the class. Okay. Let us answer question number 2. Which sentence contains the evidence that supports the assertion? Actually, there are 3 evidences here. These are the 3 learning modalities. Number 1, the modular distance learning. Number 2, the online distance learning. And the number 3, the radio TV-based instructions. These are the modalities which are offered in the new normal by the Department of Education in order for the department to be ready, as claimed by the writer here. Okay? So it means this is a direct assertion. That is why it is called basic assertion. The second type of assertion is what we call the emphatic assertion. It is an assertion where a writer uses statements that express empathy or how a person understands the feelings and emotions of the literary author. It can be used in writing a formal or informal paper according to Tesoro 2020. Always remember that you, as a writer, when you are writing emphatic assertion, okay, you use statements that express empathy or how a person understands feelings and emotion of the literary author. Unlike to basic assertion is a direct assertion. While in emphatic assertion, there's an empathy involved. There's a feelings and emotions involved. Okay? Now, there are 2 ways there are two parts of writing emphatic assertions. And these are the first statement that recognizes the situation or even the feelings of the characters on the text being read, followed by the second statements where the writer states his stance about the situation. So you as a writer, when you are writing emphatic assertion, these two statements should be visible in your emphatic assertion. Okay? You should have first recognized the situation or the feelings of the characters. And then, after you have recognized and understand the feelings of the characters, you as a writer can now write your stand. Okay? To have further understanding about emphatic assertion, let us look at the example. Let us now look at the example of emphatic assertion. Let us read this paragraph. I know that the Department of Education is ready to open classes in this new normal. To address the problem, it offers different modalities of learning where learners will not have the face-to-face learning mode. Instead, it will use distance learning. This only proves that the department is ready to open classes as opposed to the clamor of the others that it is not ready. Now, to identify if this paragraph is an emphatic assertion, let us answer these questions. Let's start with number 1. It is said here, which sentence recognizes the assertion? The sentence here that recognizes assertion is this: I know that the Department of Education is ready to open class in this new normal. Okay, why this is the assertion? Because of the use of I know. I know, it means that the writer recognizes the situation. And remember that emphatic assertion recognizes the writer should recognize the situation. Okay, now let's move to number 2. Which sentence shows evidence to the stand of the writer? We are looking to the stand of the writer. What's the stand of the writer? The stand of the writer here is DepEd is ready to open classes. Okay, as opposed to the clamor of the others that it's not ready. The stand of the writer is he or she believes that DepEd is ready. That is the stand of the writer. Now, what is the evidence of the claim? What are the evidences of the writer while he or she is telling that DepEd is ready? The evidence is here. Because the DepEd is offering different modalities of learning, where learners will not have the face-to-face learning mode. Instead, it will use distance learning. That is the evidence. Okay? I hope with this example, everything is clear. Remember that emphatic assertion, you should remember the word empathy, the feelings and emotions. Okay? So let's move to the next kind of assertion. The last kind of assertion is what we call the I language assertion. It is a statement used to express the feeling and preference of the writer. It is called I language because it focuses on the writer and is using the pronoun I. This type of assertion is recommended if the author wants to express negative feelings and opinion. This is best used in writing a review or reflection paper according to the Thesaurus 2020. Remember that I language is the same with the other assertion. Okay, when you are using I language assertion, if you are the writer, you express the feelings and your preference as a writer. Okay, it is called I language because of the pronoun I. We have to remember that pronoun I. This type of assertion is recommended when you are expressing negative feelings and opinions to what you have read. Like example, if you have read in literary works. Okay, so when you are doing a reflection paper, okay, I language is very important. Now, in writing I language assertion, there are 3 parts. Now, let us find out what are these 3 parts of I language assertion. The first part contains the accurate information from a literary work, especially the topic the writer disagrees with. So when you are writing I language assertion, in your first paragraph, you have to indicate first what part of the literary work do you disagree. Okay, so it means that will be the topic of your I language assertion. Next, the second part includes the effect or feeling of the writer towards the topic. After writing the part of the literary work where you didn't agree, you will now tell your feelings regarding that topic. Okay? Next, the last part include the preference and recommendation of the writer. So you have to indicate your preference or recommendation. Of course, because you disagreed with that part of literary work, you have to give your own recommendation as an I language assertion writer. Okay? I hope this last part of assertion or last kind of assertion is clear to you. But before we move to activity, let us first check an example for further understanding about the I language assertion. Let's now read the example of I language assertion. Let us read this paragraph. Upon reading, the Department of Education offers 3 modalities such as modular learning, online distance learning, and radio-based learning in delivering education to the learners. I feel that this is enough to believe that our education is ready to open classes for this school year. It is evident that the modalities are very safe for our learners to avoid this COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, the parents should not be worried about the safety and education of their children this year. The department is doing its best to deliver the education with safety to the learners and teachers. Let us now examine this example if this is really an I language assertion by answering these questions. Question number 1. Which sentence contains the accurate information? The accurate information here in this paragraph is this. The Department of Education offers 3 modalities such as modular learning, online distance learning, and radio-based learning in delivering education to the learners. Because that is true. DepEd offers different modalities in order to continue this education in this time of pandemic. Let us move to question number 2. Which sentence contains the effect and feelings of the writer? This is the feelings of the writer. I feel that this is enough to believe that our education is ready to open classes for this school year. Okay? So you will notice the writer uses I, the pronoun I. So it only means that it is an I language assertion. According to him, according to his feeling or her feelings, or feeling, that using the different modalities, he or she believes that it is enough that the education is ready to open the classes. Now, let's move to question number 3. Which sentence contains the preference and recommendation of the writer? This is the recommendation. Therefore, the parents should not be worried about the safety and education of their children this year. That is his or her recommendation or recommendation of the writer. From the word therefore, okay, we have the signal that this is the recommendation of the writer. Okay, I hope you now understand how to write I language assertion and you are now able to identify if the given statement is an I language assertion. We are now done exploring and discussing our lesson. Any question? Did you learn a lot with our discussion? If you have questions or clarification with our discussion, you are free to go back to the lesson. I know you are ready for the next part of this journey. Let us start answering your activities. Are you ready? Let's go! But before we proceed to our activities, please be ready with your pen and paper. Do you have now your pen and paper? Let us read our general directions. The first one is, read carefully the directions indicated in the following activities. Next, provide what is needed or asked in each item. And the third one, avoid erasures. Now, for any inquiries or clarification about the lesson, please contact your English teacher so that he or she can assist you. Be ready. There are 4 activities in this learning activity sheets. Let us start with activity A. You can find it on page 3 of your learning activity sheets. This is the direction. True or false, write T if the statement is correct and F if the statement is incorrect. If it is false, identify the mistake in the given sentence. You may write your answer on a sheet of paper. You may now start answering this activity. You may take your time. You can pause it while answering. Once you're done, you can play this video so that we can check your answer. Let us now check if your answers are correct. Let's start with number 1. The answer is false. Critical reading includes skimming and scanning. The mistake here is the skimming and scanning because skimming and scanning are not kind of critical reading. Okay, they are not using in-depth understanding of reading. Number 2, the answer is true. Reasoning can be applied in critical reading. That is true. Number 3, the answer is true also because assertion is applied in listening either with or without the evidence. Remember that assertion is part of listening. Number 4, the answer is true because in empathic assertion, the writer uses empathy or how a person understands the feeling and emotions of the literary author. As I told you, empathic assertion, you have to remember the word empathy, feelings, and emotion. How about number 5? The answer is false. Basic assertion is usually used in formal writing. Remember that basic assertion is usually used in formal writing also. Okay? Next, number 6. The answer is true. In an I language assertion, the writer can express the positive or negative feelings and opinion. And always remember that I language uses the pronoun I. Okay? And number 7, the answer is false. In basic assertion, the writer recognizes the situation and even the feelings of the characters and takes stand on the situation. Because in number 7, it is not basic assertion. Okay? Because in number 7, the answer here should be empathic assertion. I hope you got a lot of correct answers. Let us now move to our next activity. For our activity B, you will find it in your learning activity sheets at page 4. I hope you still have your pen and paper. For the instruction, determine the kind of assertion implied in each of the following statements. Write BA for basic assertion, EA for empathic assertion, and ILA for I language assertion. Write your answer on a sheet of paper. Are you ready? I hope you are ready. You may now start answering the activity B. You may take your time. Once you're done, you can move to the next page. This is the continuation of activity B. Just take your time again. Once you're done, you can continue and let us check your answer. I hope you are ready to check your papers. These are the answers. For number 1, the answer is I language assertion because you will notice in this paragraph the use of pronoun I is very visible. And for number 2, the answer also is I language assertion because the writer also expresses feelings and uses pronoun I. Okay? Let's move to the next page. For number 3, the answer is basic assertion. Okay? For number 4, empathic assertion because the writer expresses feelings and emotions. And number 5, the answer is also basic assertion. I hope you got a high score for this activity. Congratulations! We are now in activity C. You may find your activity C in your learning activity sheets at page 4. For the instruction, read the given article and answer the given questions. Use one push of the paper to write your answer. Okay? You may now start answering the activity C, read the article, and answer the questions given. Just take your time. Once you're done, you move to the next number. So this is number 2, and those are the questions. Take your time. For number 3, this is the article, and these are the questions. Take your time. If you think you're done, you may move to the next page. Okay, I know you are done answering activity C. Please check your answers. The questions are provided and answers. Take your time. Once you're done, you may move to the next page. These are the answers in number 2. Please read the questions and answers and check your paper if you got it right. Okay, we are now in number 3. These are the questions and answers. Please check your paper. I know you got a high score. Congratulations for finishing activity C. Let us now move to activity D. Read the given article taken from deped.gov.ph written in your learning activity sheets on page 5. Then answer the given questions. Write your answer on a sheet of paper. I hope you're done reading the article, and these are the questions you need to answer. Number 1, do you think DepEd is ready to open the class? Number 2, what are your evidences to support your stand? At least 5 to 10 evidences. Number 3, explain your stand with your valid reasons, at least in 1,000 words of 2 to 5 paragraphs. Now, this is the basis on how you will be graded on your answers. Rubrics uses valid reasons, 10 points. Uses evidences, 10 points. Uses 1,000 words, 5 points. Okay, I hope everything is clear for you. So your scores will be based on the judgment and on the rubrics of your English teacher. Thank you. After everything you did, you may now reflect. These are the instructions for your reflection. Reflect by answering the questions meaningfully. Write your answer in complete sentence. And 3, write your answers in a sheet of paper. For the questions on your reflection, number 1, how important is critical reading in our everyday life? Number 2, how important is listening in our everyday life? And number 3, cite 3 real-life situations where critical reading and listening is applicable and useful. For the references, these are the references that we use in our learning activity sheets. Congratulations, we are now done to your reading and writing skills subject, quarter 1, week 7. I hope you enjoyed your lesson and you learned a lot. Always remember, this is your teacher, Sir Norlan. Thank you and keep safe.